The views and opinions of this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers. There is substantial risk of loss in trading futures and options, which you should carefully consider prior to trading. Well, as they closed out the month of November, had a holiday-shortened trading session on Friday. A fairly quiet day in the grains and oilseeds. Cattle, though, futures had a really good end of the week, and we also had some computer problems in the overnight session for the financial markets at the CME. A lot to talk about on what is usually a quiet day after Thanksgiving of trade. Joining us, Scott Varlick with Koiba Varlick out of Sioux Center, Iowa. Scott, happy Thanksgiving. Welcome back to the show. And as I mentioned, kind of an interesting day on Friday when it's normally a fairly quiet one, Scott.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you too, Jesse, and thanks for having me. I hope you got your Christmas lights up already because the weather's going to be a little iffy this weekend. So as we change the chapter here. So cattle markets, we come in on this short day. Generally, the day after Thanksgiving, we close at noon. It's going to be pretty quiet. Not a lot of action to be had. Guys are not really paying attention to it, and the phone traffic's dead. But we had this impressive day where we just ground higher all day long, just kept grinding. Those 5-minute charts were just overbought all day long, and it just kept climbing. And you're looking at a higher weekly close as we entered the week with a Lexington plant being closed. To the fact that we can close this higher, that's just so impressive. So, I mean, there's a lot of questions about it. So we can talk about, that thin trade first. That was one thing that was evident. So overnight, the CME did have some issues with some servers overheating, and they had the financial markets shut off. They weren't trading, and they weren't even trading this morning as we come in to kind of get geared up for our markets. And as they're saying, okay, we're ready to go, we can put in trades. The market's open. I don't even have spread quotes yet. I only have just the market quotes, and there was no spread. And then that got fixed. Some of those were showing. But for me, a lot of this volume in these markets is computers trading. I mean, we're susceptible to this kind of if servers are going to overheat, we're really in trouble on what these markets can do. But one of my theories is just this thin was just so thin, or the trade was so thin today that, bids and offers 40 cents apart all day long. And it felt like it was easy to really move the market. And maybe some of those algorithms, some of those computers were just shut off due to computer issues, that there wasn't a lot of computer trading that was happening. Just my theory that maybe that was part of it, because it was pretty goosey and wild today.
Very much so. Very much so. The point you made, though, about a higher weekly close in futures, again, I just think that is so impressive considering how the week started. On the flip side, though, the cash trade this week, I know that's been pretty interesting to watch as well. There's been some days of some pretty big drops on the cash side here, Scott.
Yeah, and it's almost like we've got 2 weeks a whole week difference here and just what we've traded in cash. So limit down Monday, that's got us wanting to sell. Well, we're trying to sell cattle. And when you look at the producers right now, the North doesn't feel very current to me. We've got big weights. We're all raising them 1,800 pounds and more, fighting the market just a little bit. Your cost of gains are cheap and feeder calf prices are high. So we don't have a lot of leverage. We'd like to think the tight supply is really going to help us out, but we've kind of got ourselves in a corner there. So you were getting some selling. There was some 208, 207 trade, and that was happening. And then later in the week, as we trade the next day, Tuesday and Wednesday were limit up, there was some 210, and then some 215 in the South. And that was kind of before Thanksgiving. And now we're having another strong day today and getting some word. There's some 220 in Kansas. That keeps getting spotted around. So kind of started in the gutter. We're really rallying it back on. So I guess moving forward, we get into December. We still need to clean up these calves. These cattle are going to make money. This is our last round of these break-evens that do work. These cattle make some money, but it's when those yearlings are ready, that's when we've got some 240 to 260 break-evens. And how's the market going to handle it? Are we just going to keep fighting it, make them bigger? That's my thinking, that we'll just feed them out. We're already making these calves here 1,800 pounds. I would guess that the yearlings will too. So we're going to need a lot of come in the market for these to make some money. But Packers got a little bit of leverage in his corner right now with us with these large weights right here.
You mentioned it at the top. How much is the cold shot, the winter weather moving in here as we get to the final month of the year? How much is that going to play a role potentially in these livestock markets?
Could be some friendly kind of action off of that weather. I mean, we've had, we didn't have much of a winter last year. We kind of really got away with whatever we wanted, didn't have to move snow, and now we're still looking at November, at the end of November, and we're talking big amounts of snow in some of this cow country, this feedlot country. And we're going to get caught with these large weight cattle, and we're going to want to move them. So it's going to, maybe deter that just a little bit, as you're going to want to get some cattle moving down the road. So normally that's friendly as we start to price in some winter weather. And to be honest with you, we've had so many other stories that are just whipsawing this market, this whirlwind of stories. Winter has not been something we've talked about or even brought into this market, in my opinion. So if we start to see some winter and it keeps picking up, maybe that's some of today's trade, putting some of that in the market, because we have not talked about it yet.
Grains and oilseeds were much quieter on Friday. We did get weekly export sales numbers. Also got some private sales announced to China and unknown for soybeans, but yet felt like traders just kind of were headed into the holiday. Again, thin volume it appeared to be over in the grain trade as well, Scott.
Yeah, a little bit on the thin side, but it does look and feel good. We've got our harvest lows in well behind us. We've kind of talked about that. And now we're trying to find this range here. And after the week trade here over the last couple of weeks, this week's been able to put a little bit of a charge back on the market, try to climb it to the top side of those ranges. So you can feel good about that. You talked about the exports, the good demand. We're feeling a lot better. I mean, it was not very long ago. We're wondering, when are these sales going to show up? Starting to see some. That feels good. And I think we've got a tight enough ending stock number on beans that we need to respect that. If we keep seeing more business, these beans have some room to run. The funds are a little bit long in that market. We saw some decent numbers for corn as well, and corn absolutely needs it because its ending stock number is the opposite. It's very large. We've got a lot of that to chew through. So I like that it was able to push back to the top side of the range and led by the front months. You got a December corn contract under delivery, and it's the highest one on the board today for the corn. That's good. You got a January bean leading the charge, outgaining the rest of them. That's the kind of market you want to see, is some strength from the front on the demand. And we'll test the top side of those ranges early on next week to see, hey, are we going to be able to try to put some more on or not here?
Scott, any final thoughts, anything you'd reiterate to folks here as we roll out of the month of November now and get geared up for December trade?
Yeah, I'm getting more excited about December. I'm always ready to get out of this November month. I mean, we've got some cattle seasonals that look good. We kind of can get to your seasonal lows in the hogs. Get some of that out of the way. We've got a lot of disease issues starting to pop up in hogs. So there's some stories shifting a trend there. So you've got these trends that are looking to try to shift. You've got this cattle down trend that's trying to poke up a little bit. The hogs turning up a little bit, and grains showing a little bit of life. So it's a great way to end November, that we've got our ags just kind of on the run here and feeling like, hey, we've got some stories around agriculture here that feel better. So looking forward to December.
We'll take a little bit of holiday cheer as we get into the Christmas season here in these markets. Scott, if folks want to reach out, talk with you and the folks there at Coima Varlick, what's the best way?
Give us a phone call. We'd love to talk to you. We've got a website, kkvtrading.com, if you want to see a lot of different charts there. But best thing is just give one of us a call.
Scott Varlick with Coima Varlick in Sioux Center, Iowa. Thanks for joining us on the show today. Have a great one. We will talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Jesse.
Make sure to subscribe to the Market Talk YouTube channel. You can watch our latest interviews with top market analysts in the country, find bonus content, and much more. It's easy. Just go to youtube.com/@MarketTalkAg and hit the subscribe button. Or you can search for Market Talk Ag on YouTube.